Jennifer Louise is a multi-award-winning public speaker, international #1 best-selling author, inspirational change leader, CEO of Obsessions Salon, founder of a Successful Salon Club, and co-founder of Level Up Business Academy, helping small and medium business owners get their business visible, fully booked, and celebrating real profit growth from the committed team around them. Having spent over 16 years as a salon owner and a mentor, Jennifer has worked with many businesses to develop clarity around who a business is and who they serve, using a strong social media strategy to get the message out, turning entire teams into mini armies of marketeers and pushing their brands further than ever before to get all the tills ringing. And Jennifer has built 2 very successful businesses, one in just 30 days using Instagram strategies to grow her client list. And now she's on a mission to show 10 million business owners around the world how they can do it too. Welcome to Talk Business with Jennifer.
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you for having me.
Lovely to have you here with us. That's going to be a job, isn't it? 10 million business owners. How are you going to find them?
I don't know, and I don't care. I believe in the ripple effect,
Yeah.
So, you're touching one person and they pass that little nugget on and that helps somebody else. So I'm rooting that everyone's going to be helping me on this 10 million mission.
Yeah. Well, tell me about the last year, because you know, there can't be many industries that have been harder hit by COVID than you guys.
Oh God, it's been crazy. My business has actually only been open for 3 months in the entire year. It's like, it has been crazy. And I just think, even though we've only been open 3 months, we've grown immensely. After the first lockdown, I was able to employ 3 new team members through my Instagram strategies. I knew that they would be busy instantly. 2 of them hadn't been hairdressing for over 5 years, which meant they had no clientele to bring to the table.
Wow.
One of those guys are one of my top earners now. And throughout, when we come out of this one, I've got another one at standby to come in. So we will have grown by 4 team members through this pandemic.
That's crazy. And that's in a year when you guys aren't even open. That must make you really excited for next year, right?
Oh yeah, totally. Like, I can just see it going up and up and up and up. And, even though it's only been 3 months, like the take-ins, when you look at like how much we've actually taken in those 3 months, and it has been sporadic. It hasn't been 3-month chunks. We've been open, close. It's been a nightmare. We've done really well. So yeah, I'm proud.
Yeah,
and I'm
you should be.
excited.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to hearing more detail about that a little bit later on. But take us back to the beginning. I know you had an interesting start with some funny stories about school.
Yeah. So how do I put this? I fell in with the wrong crowd basically, and I realized that the people that I was hanging out with weren't serving me. I mean, that wasn't rocket science, considering I was going into school, signing in the morning, and then disappearing off down the bottom of the field with a bunch of guys that were a lot older than me. They were in like 2-3 years above me, and we were just drinking vodka and getting drunk and being silly and not doing any school whatsoever. And so I realized very quickly that actually this is going to be the end of my life if I continue with this. But I wasn't strong enough to pull away from them and go to class, because I knew that if I went to class, then everybody was going to be like, what are you doing? What on earth? So I just quit school. I just thought that was the easy way out and just quit. Then I got really scared because I was like, what am I going to do? So I sat at home and thought, I'm going to go and get a job. So I asked my dad, can I get a job? They didn't know that I'd quit. This was a Saturday job. My dad's a very proud man. We had no money whatsoever. And I just wanted a pair of trainers, Everyone else had the cool trainers. I had like plimsolls.
Yeah.
So dad was like, no, you're not. I'm not having my 14-year-old daughter work. Forget it. So I pretended to take my sister out for the day, and I went into every single shop, every single bar, everything I possibly could, and was like, hey, are you hiring? Do you have a job? Like, really upbeat. And in that day, I secured 2 jobs. One was chambermaiding, which I thought was going to be really hard work. And the other one was a Saturday job in a hairdressing salon, which I thought, stupidly, was going to be really easy work. So when I started, I don't know why I did it, but I was so ashamed of quitting school that I told the woman that I was 16, and she was like, well, let's get you on an apprenticeship. And I'm thinking, shit, not 16. I don't know what I'm going to do. So I just went with it. And the apprenticeship was in the college that was right next door to the school that I should have been going to. So how I managed to pull this off for an entire year is beyond me. But I did get found out a year later, forced back into mainstream school, chose a different school because obviously I didn't want to go back to that one. And the headmaster, the most amazing headmaster ever, allowed me to just drop a few GCSEs that weren't compulsory and to do my MVQ alongside doing my GCSEs. So I actually did both at the same time. So that was really cool.
Sure. So how's that left you feeling about the school system? I know you're a mum and you encourage your kids to be entrepreneurs as well, right? Tell us a little bit about that. And how do you think that the school system does today in the UK in terms of building entrepreneurs?
Yeah, I don't believe in the school system at all. I'm not going to lie. I've been known, and I very openly admit, I take my children out of school to take them to seminars. I always have done, and I always will. Nobody will stop me from doing that. I like to give them life experiences, and I like to feed that entrepreneurial brain. My daughter, I mean, my daughter and my son is 20. He's working with his dad. They've just had someone buy into the company. So he's on his way to earn I think the buy-in was like 1.5 million. So they're like, he's 20 years old, like amazing. I'm so proud of him. And actually his dad doesn't have much business experience, so all of the business experience has come from me and my son. It's come through my son, and so I'm so proud for that. And then my daughter, she honestly displays so much entrepreneurialism as well. She grew a column in the salon, bearing in mind at this time she was 12 years old. She's not allowed to cut or colour or do anything. All she's allowed is a pair of straighteners to curl or straighten girls' hairs. And she grew a column just by marketing herself on Instagram and TikTok. So she would bring her friends into the salon, do their hair. When their hair was done, she would do like this TikTok video and just create this FOMO in the school that all the girls wanted to have their hair done and do a TikTok with Ellie because it was cool. Yeah. And she was fully booked every single day. Yeah. She only worked a Saturday, and she was only allowed to work 4 hours because of the law, but she was fully booked. And it was just so incredible to watch that brain ticking over and saying, like, she'd be in the staff room and she'd walk in if someone was on their phone and she'd be like, are you marketing your business? And of course they're not. They're on their phone texting their other halves, and she'd make them all feel really bad.
Talk us through some of the key steps that you go through with your new clients when helping them grow their business.
Okay, so there's 5 key points that I'm really hammer home with all of my clients. My clients are salon owners, but small and medium business owners now as well. Thanks to the rise of Clubhouse, it's just exploded. So the very, very first thing is your identity, figuring out who you are. So the question that we go really deep and start really peeling the layers back is, why should I pay you to do the thing you do instead of the person up the road doing the same thing? And when we get really deep, like an onion, peeling all those layers back, when we do that, we get absolute certainty and clarity. And there's this real thing about running a business in certainty and clarity. It stops you making decisions that you shouldn't make, and it helps you to really market yourself on purpose. So that's the first thing we look at. The second thing is the ideal client, and this is so important to me because I nearly lost my business. I was in business for 10 years, and on the 10th year it nearly all went peaked on. I nearly lost everything. And at that moment in time, I sat there and looked around the business and just thought, oh my God, every single chair is full. We were really, really busy. I couldn't understand what had gone wrong, why we weren't generating the cash that we needed. And we had literally been just surviving on cash flow. We hadn't been growing. We'd stagnated. And every single person in every single chair was a discount hunter. They were all in the business because they wanted their haircut, but they wanted it for the price that they perceived its value. and the price that they perceived its value was very, very low. We were attracting the wrong clientele. And I remember thinking, oh, this is amazing. God waits until my dying moment to tell me what I've done wrong so that I can't do anything about it. Brilliant. At that very moment, the door swung open and in literally floated, I mean, she didn't, but to me, she floated through the salon. And it was this lady who had this most beautiful white bouncy bob and this beautiful fringe that kind of just graced the top of her eyebrows. And this beautiful, like long, expensive camel coat that just touched the top of her Jimmy Choos. And she just spoke with the most elegant voice I've ever heard in my life. And I remember just watching her thinking, oh my God, that's the client I need inside my business. I've just been given this epiphany. Now I've been given the answer. And this woman had never seen us before. She booked weekly blow dries, cuts and colors. And I think she booked up for like 2 or 3 months. And I was just like, this is crazy. This never happens. This business has got to keep going because we have to serve her. So it gave me that power and that fire inside of me to be like, okay, this is the answer. How do we work this? So I stalked her, literally. She became the new obsession. So my business is called Obsessions Salon. So she became the new obsession and her name was Sue. And I found out everything about her. Everything from not just her age, does she own a home, like most ideal client avatars that we have in most businesses. I wanted to know the BS systems, the belief systems that she was running around inside of her head. What did she say to herself in the morning when she was alone and she looked at herself in the mirror? What was she thinking about when she laid her head on the pillow that was just racing round her brain? What was the language that she was using surrounding the service that I provided? I wanted to know where she ate dinner with her girlfriends, where she ate dinner with her husbands. I wanted to know where she ate cake and coffee and where she drank wine. I wanted to know where she bought birthday presents for family and why she bought her food in the food shops that she bought them. I literally unpacked this woman, and she is still a client in my business today. Her name is Sue. And so the ideal client part of any of my clients' business, finding your Sue, is so important to me. Like, I have so much passion because it was the underpinning of the business thriving.
Just on that point real quickly, there must be CCTV footage somewhere of you just following this lady with like a fake beard on and sunglasses, like one of those newspapers with holes cut out of it. Was Sue aware that she had a stalker?
No, well, yes and no, because I was inviting her out for dinner, I was inviting her out for lunch, so I was hanging out with her a lot, and every time she was in the salon, I'd be like, oh, it's my stepmom's birthday. Where would you buy some nice jewelry? And then the next week it was someone else's birthday. So a lot of it was done undercover, but in the business.
And just before you, sorry, go on, carry on. This is brilliant.
No, go on.
So because I mean, obviously, it's one thing knowing, and you know, so many people listening to us are going to be thinking, flipping heck, like we're going through exactly the same thing, surviving on cash flow. You know, we're busy. You know, working hard, not smart. But how do you actually execute this? Because, you know, it's one thing knowing that, you know, your customers are wanting discounts and not going to want to pay any more. But then how do you actually execute that and effectively end up turning away some of your existing clientele because you become too expensive? What does that journey look like, Jennifer? I'm fascinated to find out.
Yeah, so I had to say, I pulled the team in and I had to say, we're going to sacrifice serving the bottom end of the market to absolutely outstandingly serve the top. And everyone was like, whoa. I actually lost a member of staff because her identity was attached to the lower end of the market and she didn't feel she fitted. So that was fine. You know, if that's how you feel and you need to go, I wish you the best, and we'll part ways. But it was a case of doing it very slowly. So finding out, you know, we started with, how does the inside of her house look like? What does she really like in her house? The colour scheme, all of that stuff. And she's moved from London to Ramsgate. So the salon had to then start looking like a London salon. So we started with painting it, asking her opinions so that we got the colours that she liked. And we just started really like cleaning up, painting, putting some new furniture in, just doing it little bit by little bit. Once we'd done that, we raised the prices. Then we set in, because we wanted to make it like a spa. So then we set in something called like the 5 Obsessions, which are just tiny little treats that everybody gets that's free, just to really ramp that service up even more. So we were consulting with her. It's all about what does Sue like, right? And at each point, the prices just went up. The prices go up inside my business twice a year, every year, because wages go up. You know, everything goes up. So they are, the cheapest you can get a haircut inside the business now is £74, which is a very expensive salon in a tiny little seaside town. Yeah. But we are worth it. The experience is outstanding.
Yeah. Did you find that many of your older customers adapted and come with you on the journey?
Yeah, they did. And I was very honest. So right at the very beginning, that very first time I put the prices up, I was absolutely like freaking it. I was so scared because I thought I'm going to lose everybody. But then even if I lost half the clientele, I'm still going to make, because I put the prices up by 50%. Yeah. I had to do something because the business was dying, and it was a case of we're dying anyway. So we either have this slow death of weeding out and it destroying me completely, or I put the prices up 50%, swallow it, just brace myself, and it would either be a quick death or a quick success. It's going to be one or the other, but either way, I'm going to know where I stand and I'm not going to have this pain anymore. So I just put them up. Yeah. And I remember just putting out an e-blast to everybody saying, I'm really sorry, this has to happen. In order for me to continue to give you the service that you've come to appreciate inside of this business, we can no longer survive. We're going out of business. I was just really honest. Yeah. Yeah. If I don't do this, we're not going to be here to do your hair. So you're either with us or you're not.
Yeah. And you noticed that you mentioned earlier on that you've got a relatively small local catchment area. Have you found that you've become more of a destination place now, where you get people traveling from further afield now?
Yeah, absolutely. Because we know who Sue is and we talk just to her. Everything I do, every touch point is to her. So we've got clients that come down. So we're in like the real bottom end of Kent. I've got clients that come down from London, from Essex. It's like an 1.5 to 2 hour journey just to have their hair cut because they found a post on Instagram that spoke just to them.
Yeah. Amazing. You mentioned Instagram. I know you utilize the power of social media as a key part of your strategy. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so Instagram's a real love of mine. I adore it because it's really helped me to grow the business. We currently have a 42% new client intake consistently. Well, I say that when we're open. Yeah. Not right. Well, actually, we are getting a good intake right now because at the moment, even though we're closed, we're focused on building a list of new clients to bring into the business. And I'll talk to you about that in a second because it's quite a really good strategy to get them into your sales funnel. But during the times that we're open, we've got a sales funnel that sits inside of Instagram that just goes out. So there's 40 touch points every single day on that account, and no discounts. This is full price. We're inviting you in for a full price cut finish. I don't do discounts in my business for the reasons I just mentioned before, right? I don't want to die again. And so they get the opportunity to come in. Now, do we give them a discount? No. Do we give them something extra? Yes. People get addicted to discounts, but they never get addicted to free. The free is an outstanding experience. So you can take that away and drop that back in as and when you feel like it. A discount, people are like, well, now it's not worth £74 because you've just let me pay 35. So be very, very careful with them. And also, I don't think a lot of businesses really understand the money behind a discount, and when they do their break even and realize that actually the discounts killed them, they've not made any money whatsoever. But most businesses don't do a break even before they do a promotion, which means they're doing it blind. So by utilizing Instagram and offering full priced products and just drawing them into the business, it works so well, and we get the client that we want because we're only contacting people that are our ideal clients. So we're building the business on purpose with future, because the right client, when it comes into your business, just helps you grow and succeed even quicker because they tell all their friends and family. Yeah.
A lot of people listening would have realized, and I'm sure you've noticed this as well, that a lot of social media platforms now, the organic reach on them are just dying a death, right? It's becoming a pay-to-play platform. Can people still be successful without turning to paid ads?
Oh, 100%. I don't pay for any ads.
Wow.
I don't pay for a single thing. I do it all through the Instagram DMs. And here's the thing, right? So most businesses set up an Instagram account and they'll do a little bit of work around the ideal client if we're lucky. But it would generally be someone between 24 and 45. They own their own home. They're a woman, very, very generic, which means that they're actually scattergun messaging. They're not hitting any target. They're just talking to anyone that will listen. Well, that's the wrong way to grow the business for starters. Yeah. Then we look at Instagram in terms of getting the message into the inbox of the right people. So reaching out and not expecting people to reach out to you is really, really important. If you expect to just post some content and people are going to find you, it doesn't work like that. Firstly, there's no engagement, and by DMing people, we're upping the engagement level, which means my posts then go out on the explore page, which gets found by people that are living an hour and a half away. Okay, so creating that engagement is really important. The other thing that I see businesses doing is posting and ghosting, and it really just drives me insane. Like, yeah, okay, we use we use Planoly to auto post for us, so we are using an auto post. However, the alarm goes off on my phone to make sure that I'm on the phone when it gets posted, so that I can interact. Because if you're not, the little guy sat behind the laptop in headquarters Instagram going, well, she's not there, I'm going to restrict her reach. Yeah. So making sure that you're there to talk to everybody, and then just get inside the DMs. I think, you know, cold calling, and everyone's like, oh, I hate cold calling, I'm not going to do cold calling. Well, you don't have to do cold calling anymore, because you don't have to actually speak to anybody, but you do have to do cold messaging. Yeah. Like, that strategy does not leave the business world. And if you want to be a successful business, you're going to damn well make sure you do that cold messaging, because, you know, you might get a few no's, but you're going to get a lot of yeses, especially if that message is really well scripted and it's pulled into a funnel that goes off onto a website, so that you're doubling down on the information that you're giving that person.
Yeah, so good. We mentioned during your intro that you started a new business in 30 days using Instagram. Tell us about that. But before you do, let's hear from our sponsor.
The investment in the video worked wonders for our business. I actually got better results than what I was expecting to.
Video is a really important marketing tool because it allows us to present ourselves in a very different way.
It went down an absolute storm.
I was really impressed with.
We had over 260,000 views and was shared and liked 8,000 times.
It definitely overgrew my expectations.
There was certainly an uptake on business, without a doubt.
That video is working, so it was worth every single penny.
It did everything I wanted it to do. It really got to be.
It's generated a lot of traffic and a lot more work for us, and ultimately generated more profit for the business.
I'm so glad I work with these guys.
So I have instructed them again.
We've gone back again this year.
Definitely the way forward.
Fans of the Talk Business With show benefit from our exclusive rate through our partnership with Animate Our Logo. Visit animateourlogo.com to unlock the discounted rate.
So just before our ad, you were just about to tell us how you started this business within 30 days just using Instagram.
Yeah, so this started just as the pandemic hit, right? So I'm being faced with, I was actually on a course in London, and everyone was going, don't go, what if something happens and we all get shut down? So this is the weekend before the dreaded Monday when we were told no more. So I'm in London, and my team are all back at home working. It's a Saturday, so my daughter's in the salon as well. And there's all this going on the news about, you know, we may get shut down. The virus is really bad. What's everybody doing? My team were really scared. So I called an emergency meeting with my my top management team. That consists of me, the manager inside of my business, and my daughter. And yes, I know she is only 12 years old at that point, but I like to raise my children to be able to make good decisions and to be able to execute the reason behind the decision. Yeah. So I gave them both 60 seconds. I said, you've both got 60 seconds to tell me what you want to do, and then we'll make a unanimous decision. Both girls stood there and said, Mum, the team are scared. Sophie's been crying. Like, everybody's really worried. Clients are cancelling left, right and centre. Chloe said exactly the same. And I was like, well, it doesn't matter what my opinion is now. 2 against 1, close the shop. So they, bless them, had to go and deal with closing the salon all by themselves. I'm in London feeling absolutely terrible that I'm not there with them. And I gave myself an hour. I have this thing in my life where if something bad happens, it's not bad, it's happening for me. I believe everything in my life happens for me. So I give myself an hour and that's it. I literally set a timer on my phone. I'm allowed an hour to actually feel that feeling and understand that this is happening and get myself together. And then as soon as that alarm goes off, it's straight back to business. Get a plan together, deal with it, move forward. This is not a time to be sitting down and being upset. So I set the alarm. I'm on this course and we were in like a big shared house with everybody on the course. And this guy was cooking breakfast and I was like, do you fancy making me breakfast, please? Because I'm having a bit of a moment. And I told him and he was like, oh my God. I was like, yeah, I just need some eggs and bacon. Yeah. So he did me some food and I gave myself the hour. And then I was like, right, let's start another business. I don't know how this is going to work. I don't know if the government at this point is going to help with any grants. I don't know how I'm going to pay my team, but I know I'm not going to not pay my team. I don't care what happens. I owe it to them. They've been with me for years. So I promised all the team, don't you worry, you're going to get 100% of your wages. We're going to make this right. I don't know how this is going to happen, but trust me, it is. Thinking, oh my God, what am I going to do? And so I was like, right, I need to open an online business. I'd already been coaching, but it was a physical coaching company where I was traveling out to their salons. So I thought, well, I've got the knowledge. I just better move this all online and pivot really quickly and earn some money in an industry that's just about to shut their doors and doesn't have any money. I don't actually know how this is going to work. So I got straight on Instagram, start posting, start DMing. That day, I built my business on that course. I knew that there was loads of really smart people in the room with me. So I just used every single one of them. Hey, this is my strategy. This is my trouble. This is my pain point. This is what I'm going up against. How can you help me? By the end of that day, I had a whole business plan hashed out. And that was it. The next day, back home, me and Eddie did mood boards together. So it was on the Sunday when he said, you know, that's it. If you're not home by this, I think it was like 8 o'clock. If you're not home by whatever time, you stay where you are. So I managed to get back in on time. We set our mood boards up and what we wanted this year to achieve for us, even though we didn't even know what the year was going to hold. And the mood board still sits there. I still look at it every single day. And yeah, it was a case of, right, Instagram's what I know. It's what I love. Let's start reaching out. Let's pull anyone that I know together. Let's build a Facebook group, get them in a community, serve the community live every single day. I went live at 10 o'clock every day, gave everybody purpose, gave everybody insights, education, and that just, my business exploded and I've never looked back.
And how do you make money from that? What services are you selling?
So I coach. So I've got a coaching company, or I've got 2 coaching companies, but the one that I built in the 30 days is for salon owners. Yeah. So it's a monthly training mastermind session, 90 minutes a month, and I'm coaching them how to connect with their ideal client, how to create all of the underpinning pillars of the business so that they are stable and clear and they can drive the business forward quickly. Yeah. And then how to reach out and connect with those ideal clients and pull them off of social media, whether that's LinkedIn or Instagram, Facebook groups, their website, and high ticket clients as well. No discounts, all full price, so that they can grow and scale their businesses. Yeah.
And something we didn't know this time last year, but I know it's become a big part of your life, and we actually met on Clubhouse as well. Is Clubhouse the new app? How important do you see this going forward for your business?
Oh my God. Wow. It's crazy because I'm speaking on stages and I'm like, hey, my name's Jennifer Louise. I'm the CEO of Successful Salon Club and I coach blah, blah, blah. And I go into my bio and then everyone was reaching out to me going, oh, it's such a shame that you only do this for salons. And I'm like, no, it's transferable to every single business. It's not just salons. And so that birthed the Level Up Business Academy, because I thought, you know what? I think I need to stand up for small and medium-sized businesses as well as the salon owners, but I'm never going to leave the salon owners because that's my heart, that's my industry. I love it. So that it's grown another business and literally exploded both businesses, both online businesses through the roof, which has been phenomenal. And we're now at a position where we're growing the team behind the company to really push it that next stage. But I think if you're not on Clubhouse, oh my goodness, get on it.
Yeah.
I think definitely have a strategy behind, you know, I think when you first get on it, it's a bit overwhelming because it's like taking up all of this time and you don't actually know what's going on and why you're on there and what you want to get out of it. So I think experience it for 3 days and then take a day off to really strategize what you want out of it. Are you there for business or are you there for education? If you're there for education, what do you need to learn? Only go in the rooms that are going to teach you those things and then look back at what you next need to learn. If you're there for business, you better get smart on your ideal client and you better get smart on your identity because that's your bio on Clubhouse, right? So for anybody that's going into Clubhouse that's new, that wants to learn how to do those things, definitely reach out because I can coach you through all of that. But you're leaving money on the table if you're not in Clubhouse.
Yeah, for sure. What is the most common mistake you have noticed salon owners making that is stifling their growth?
It's definitely the underpinning of the business. It's not knowing who they are, who they serve, their core values and beliefs. And I think, you know, when you've got all of those 3 things together, not only do you have clarity, but your clients and your team have clarity. So when the team join your bus, they know where the destination of that bus, like nobody in their right mind gets on a bus and doesn't know where it's going. Yet most businesses that I come into, when I say to them, what's the next 10 years look like? They have no clue. What's your vision statement? Don't know. When I ask the team, what's their mission statement? They can't tell me. There's no clarity around anything. Yet the salon owner's really clear, kind of, they think they are, you know, this is my vision. And hang on a minute, because it says it on my website. Let me just go and look it up. But if I say, are you clear? They're like, yeah, I know what my business is, but they don't. So I think opening them up to that, and I think that's across the board in most businesses. It's nothing new, but we didn't do it in the beginning because we just focused on getting clients in quickly. So we didn't take the time to figure out all that stuff that, you know, all of the great business books teaches you, Michael E. Gerber and Stephen Covey and all of the rest of them. They all tell you to do the same thing. We just didn't listen.
Yeah. And what are some of the most common traits you recognise in the most successful business owners that you've worked with?
Mindset for sure, leadership. They've really, really cleared that up. And I think that effective feedback, I think that's a real key in the leadership cog. When you give feedback to your team, it's a bit like when you're shouting at a toddler. All the child, actually not a toddler, all a child will hear if you shout at them is you shouting. They don't ever hear the words that you're saying to them. And it's the same when we're in our own heads giving feedback to a member of our team, going, well, you were late. Why are you late? Like, this can't happen. The client's waiting. What are you playing at? Rather than being, I saw that you were late again today, Sophie, and that really makes the client uncomfortable because she sat there waiting for her appointment. She's got somewhere else to go. So in your next break, I'd really like you to just come back to me and tell me 3 ways that you're going to make sure that you're not late again so that we can work through this and not have this happen in the business again. That's a leadership. That's leading the team. The team are clear. They know where the bus is going. They know how to get on it. They know when they've made a mistake, but you're not making them feel bad. They grow from the mistake. And just allowing them to embrace the culture and give that culture out to the clients, I think is really key.
Yeah. Where will you be in 5 years' time, and what are you doing today to make that happen?
Oh, so Clubhouse is playing a massive part in this. I'm like doubling down my time on Clubhouse. So in 5 years' time, both of the business will have reached their income and impact goals. And I will have reached an impact goal of my own, which is really, really key to the reason why I do any of this. And I'll talk to you about that in just a second. The salon will have reached 21 team members. And we're growing every single year on year, which is great. And 21, not just 21 team members, but 21 purposeful team members. I've had to kind of shake up the team members that we've had in there once or twice, and just make sure that everybody's aligned. And we've got an amazing team now, so that will grow, and that will hit within the next 6-7 years the 1 mil turnover that I want it to hit, as in profit. And the other companies are hopefully, well, there's no hopefully because it's happening, right? Both of the other companies are going to be at their impact goals and their revenue goals. But the impact that I really want to make is I go out to Africa and I build houses out there for orphaned children. And this pandemic has absolutely screwed all of that up. So I go out once a year, and a team member of mine goes out once a year as well. So it gives all of my team the opportunity to go out and do that if they want to. Some of them haven't wanted to go, and that's fine. But those that have, and in the pandemic, obviously we can't get out there, which means we can't get the food parcels out as easily, although they're still going out. It's been more difficult, and there was a time span that we couldn't do it, because not only do we build the houses, we clothe them, we feed them, we take responsibility for the house for the rest of their lives, we fix and maintain the house. So for me, it was, and for Chris, who owns the Cocos Foundation, it was like, what are we going to do? We can't build the houses, which means that the builders don't get paid, which means we're not paying the ladies that make the curtains, the ladies that make, or the guys that make the beds, the builders that build the house, the people that we buy the supplies from. It's like a whole massive chain that just stopped. And all we could do is say to the builders and everybody, listen, we'll give you a food parcel, but we can't give you the wages that you normally have, because we can't take anyone out there. We can't raise the money, and we can't bring anyone to build. So it was devastating. So we found, or Chris has found, like a resort out there that they have really dropped the price down, and they're allowing us to buy it for 125,000. We've already got 50 grand that we've raised in the pandemic. We're looking for another 75, and that will allow us to buy this resort so that we can build an internal community. Now that internal community produces a profit, and that profit continues the builds. So if we can't get out there, it doesn't matter. We've got profit going out in Africa that will pay for the builds to happen. So no one loses their wages, and no one loses their food, and no one loses anything ever again. So that's the purpose of it all.
And that's called Cocos?
Yeah, the Cocos Foundation.
Do they have a website?
Yeah, it's www.cocosfoundation.co.uk.
Okay, sure. Well, we'll make sure that we've got a link to that in the description below.
Thank you.
I know you're really passionate about self-development. What resources have been the best in helping you grow your skills?
Oh my God, Tony Robbins. I've just finished UPW, so hence why I look like I've been hit by a bus today, because I feel like I've been hit by a bus today. You have like this Tony flu afterwards, where it's like you've used more energy in 4 days than you will have used in a month, and all of that emotional stuff that comes up as well. So you hit a wall after you finish, and it was American time zone this time round as well. So I was working through till 5 a.m. in the morning, which was just like really bad. So yeah, definitely Tony Robbins. I read a lot and I listen to a lot of podcasts, but I think Tony was able to heal some things in my life. I did Date with Destiny in December, and it's changed my life. It enabled me to heal some stuff with my parents that has left me since I was about 7, in a really difficult situation with both of them. And I'm now actually building a relationship with both of them, and having that relationship, which is really, really nice. And it's allowed me to put a lot of that, well, all of it, to bed. And just then allow me to just really pour into the businesses with a different kind of energy, like this energy that you wouldn't believe, because now it's like, I've not got this thing in the back of my head always niggling at me, pulling me back almost. It's gone. So I can just race forward, and that momentum, that backwards propelling momentum has disappeared.
Yeah, amazing. Do you surprise yourself having, you mentioned earlier on the school life that you had, and obviously a lack of interest in, you know, academic things? Do you surprise yourself now that you enjoy reading books and that you enjoy self-development?
Yeah, hugely, because I'm dyslexic. So when I coach live, my opening words are, guys, I'm dyslexic. So when I write up on this board, you will probably witness me write the same word in 3 different ways, and I don't care. So anyone that feels the need to point it out, just say it to yourself, because I don't need to know. You'll be able to read it, so just deal with it. Yeah. So like, it has bothered me my whole entire life. But I think there's an element of ADHD in there somewhere as well, because I cannot retain the information. So I can read an entire page and I can't retain the information unless it makes me feel something. So a book literally has to make me feel something and has to spark something inside of me for me to be able to remember what I've just read and then to be able to apply it into my life. So I kind of feel like I've lost so much of the information I have consumed, and I do sometimes sit there and think, if I was able to retain everything like most people can, yeah, Jesus, like I would be unstoppable. It would be phenomenal. But I'm so happy with what I have done and where I am. And I'm just so grateful that I can read and I can apply myself the way that I apply myself, and that I've got myself to where I am anyway, regardless. Yeah.
It's incredible the amount of people that I speak to who are hugely successful. You know, we're talking the absolute top entrepreneurs, billionaires. The huge majority are dyslexic. And you know, often when I speak to these people, and I'd like to ask you the same question as well, what are the positives that come from that? Like, what part of your brain is it opened up? And even I want to ask you the question, if you could actually press a button and not have dyslexia, would you do that and be willing to give up all of the good stuff that comes with it as well?
Probably not, no. I think, like I said, I always believe life happens for me, and I think for me, you know, the dyslexia, with all of my teachers saying, you're never going to be anything, yeah, like you're silly, you're silly, you're stupid were the words, you're stupid, you're dumb, you're never going to amount to anything. That was traumatizing, hence why I ended up down the field drinking vodka, because, you know, I'm not going to amount to anything. All these teachers are like people that I'm looking up to, and they're telling me I'm stupid and I'm dumb and I'm never going to do it, so I might as well just go and enjoy my time and mess around with everybody else. And then my parents are both very, very negative, quite narcissistic people, although they're not educated enough. They're both dyslexic, and neither of them are educated. Both of them are school dropouts. So they're not educated enough to understand what narcissism is. And it's learnt behaviour. It's ancestral learnt behaviour. So they don't understand what they're doing at all. But they were the same. Like in a different way. Like, my dad didn't believe in me. Like, if I bought a house, the first house I bought, Dad, I bought a house. Like, this is amazing stuff. Oh my God, what have you done that for? You're going to lose everything. There's going to be an economic crash. Like, you're going to lose the lot. Why did you do that? And then when I bought my first business, all I wanted him to say was, oh my God, I'm so proud of you. And he was just like, what have you done that for? You're going to lose all your money. Do you even know how to run a business? And I was like, oh my God. So I think the teachers and my parents, that coupled with the fact that I'm labelled, you've got dyslexia, there's something wrong with you, you're never ever going to be something, literally made me get that kind of
rocket fuel.
Yes, I was trying to work out how to say it without swearing.
You're welcome.
Thank you. But that rocket fuel, that's great. I'm going to use that from now on in, because I always struggle with that bit. But that rocket fuel, that moment of, I'm doing this and I don't care what you say, and I'm going to prove you wrong, because actually, who the hell are you to stand there and tell me how my life is going to be? I do that, and me and myself only. Yeah. So yeah, would I take it away? No.
Amazing. And one of the blessings in that as well, and I speak to my wife about this all the time as well, is having experienced that for yourself, and you know, raised in a different way but similar kind of, you know, limiting beliefs put onto you. doesn't it make you a better parent now? Because like you say, historically, generations before, things have just been passed down and there's never been a stop. But now I think we're able just to say, you know what, I've learned so much from that bad stuff and it stops now. And doesn't it make you a better parent right now, right?
100%. One of the things I really learned in Date with Destiny, and I've always, like, you either become your parents or you become the complete opposite. And for me, it was I had to become the complete opposite. I didn't like what I saw from them. And there's a lot of alcohol abuse, lots of violent abuse. It was not a nice environment to grow up in. And so I've never even raised a hand to my children. I've never even grounded either one of my children. I've brought them up to make their own decisions and live with their own consequences. If you want to go to school in trainers, you go to school in trainers. But when you get detention, you're going to sit in that detention and you're going to learn a lesson from it. So very, very so far removed from my parents, it's unreal. But the thing that Tony Robbins did was help me to understand that it's ancestral, because a lot of it I blamed them for. And I was like, well, you're an adult, right? So you know how to behave. You know the right from wrong. I don't care. You know right from wrong. But learning that it was ancestral and it was learned behavior, and that this wasn't just my parents or even their parents, it was their parents' parents. And how on earth were they ever going to break that cycle? But I get to, because I get to know I'm smarter than both of them or all of them put together in that environment. And I understand that this is not something we carry forward onto our children. And I will not do that. But having that moment of it's ancestral was really powerful for me.
I've absolutely loved this conversation. Really grateful for your time today. Before you go, do you have any closing thoughts?
Do I have any closing thoughts? Just that, you know, everyone has got what it takes inside of them. We're all just running a belief system, and a lot of that is a lot of limiting beliefs inside of our heads. And when you start paying attention to the language that you're saying, you may not even know that the limiting beliefs are there. But when you start journaling down your thoughts and paying attention to the things that you're saying, you start to realize what's actually really holding you back. And you can start to change the language inside of your head to allow you to break through all of those barriers and get your version of success, whether that's revenue or impact goals. You move forward towards that.
Brilliant. And how can the listeners follow you on your journey?
Okay, so you can find me on Instagram, of course. So my name on Instagram is Jennifer Louise. However, the L in Louise is a number 1, because somebody already has Jennifer Louise, even though they're not even using it, which really drives me insane. I send her messages all the time, like, please give me the account. Although somebody said to me the other day, the 1 is there for you are number 1. So yeah, I'm taking that and I'm rolling with it. You can find me on Facebook in a Facebook group, which is the Salon Owners Social Media Marketing Group, or just plainly type in Jennifer Louise and you'll find my page. I'm not accepting any friend requests, but anyone can join the page. Or on Clubhouse, come listen to me on Clubhouse and you'll find me under Jennifer Louise.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to make sure that there's links to everything you've just mentioned in the description below. Jennifer, thanks again. Really enjoyed it.
Thank you.